Howdy, fellow movie fans, and welcome back for another edition of Wisco Movie Watchers Podcast, brought to you by PTE Creative. As always, we are your hosts, Evan and Dylan Davies. The time has come, Dylan. What are we doing?
Yep. We're finishing up the Top 100 series. Well, I guess technically it's not the finale. I was going to say that. We're going to do a little retrospective.
Yeah, it is the finale, and then it's kind of like we're doing a post-game show, if you will.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. That's
kind of where we're going, but year-long project that we've actually gone through. Now, granted, an episode got lost in there somewhere, so, hey, by the way, quickly watch this recap on screen. Oh my god, thank you for watching that recap. I don't know how I'm going to just put in as fast as possible with 100 movies, but I'll figure it out. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll do it. Alrighty. But yeah, it's been fun because you learn to analyze your movie choices a lot more. I think that's the real fun I had here.
I think the most fun I had was being surprised by what you value most.
Yes.
Because, there's, weird ones where, the one that sticks to my mind is Red Dawn. Where it's like, wow, that is high up there.
Yeah, I know. I do love Red Dawn. I think that's part of the reason I love it in terms of the surprise factor, is I'm not generally surprised by any movie you have. You have, by most people's standard, you have a higher palate. You have a more trained palate for movies than most people.
Yeah, some would say pretentious.
Yes, some would say pretentious, but you have oddball movies in there too. So it's not as if it's just I only watch Academy movies and whatever. Where mine is all over the place. Where you're like, oh, those are some quality blockbusters, and then you get shit in there where you're like, what?
Yeah.
I got you last episode with that Running Man one. You were like, are you kidding me?
Well, I just don't expect it that high. I expected it on your list.
Right.
I was thinking 50s.
Yeah. No, I love the Running Man.
Yeah.
Comfort is a big thing for me. And just as I've learned that cozy is a big thing for you.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to go first for number 5 or me?
Let's take you for number 5 because I believe our number 1 slot for you has been revealed in past episodes technically.
Probably.
And I don't know how much you have to say because of that. So that's why let's do it.
Number 5 for me is WALL-E.
Wow, okay. I was wondering where WALL-E was going to come in. I knew you loved WALL-E.
Yeah.
But
my favorite Pixar movie. I think it's the best Pixar movie. I'm trying to think of in the years past how high it got. I'm pretty sure at one point it was number 2 overall.
Wow.
And it always fluctuates somewhere in the top 5. I just think it's an incredibly brave movie to make. Like the first third of it is like a silent film completely.
It's jarring when you're used to traditional Pixar and you are
Yeah.
used to, well, you're used to just animation in general, and it's always light, bright, happy music everywhere.
Yes.
And then you see Wally, and it's this very desolate, lonely environment.
Yeah, like the first third of it, the main color you see is brown.
Yeah.
Like how often you see that in an animated movie? I love the score. It's my favorite of the Pixar scores, which is really saying something because like there's some fantastic scores. Like
Mm-hmm.
Up is another incredible score. Trying to see what else I wrote. I guess technically it could be like viewed as a message movie with like a very obvious message to it.
There's so many obvious messages in that film.
Yeah, but to me, at like at the very core of the movie, it's just
Right.
a love story between two people who, or two characters who don't speak at all, which I think is another.
Outside of their name, it's just
Yeah,
Wally, Eva.
um,
Yeah.
like I just think that's another like really interesting and brave choice again. And then like the last note I just wrote is I think the Define dancing, the part where they go outside of the spaceship, I think that's just like peak animation.
It's a beautiful film with obviously some great messaging, some very obvious messaging and theming
Yeah.
behind it, but
I think it should be stated like considering where it seemed Pixar was going, I think Ratatouille and Wall-E really show like where they started going after that. Because it was like Cars right before it
yeah, Finding Nemo's right
and
before that one, a couple of years beforehand too.
yeah, Incredibles. Like all those are very very kid oriented,
Yeah,
whereas I don't view Ratatouille or Wall-E as like just for kids.
no, they are what we've qualified in the past as the family movie versus the kid movie. The kid movie is a movie specifically designed for only kids to enjoy, which is usually why those movies they stay the test of time from the sense that they're always around because people know they're safe for kids, but they're not talked about that well. Like Finding
Yeah,
Nemo I would consider Finding Nemo a family movie, not a kids movie. But I would consider Cars a kids movie.
that's a kids movie. Yeah,
I would consider whereas The Incredibles, when you actually look at it, that's a family movie.
yeah.
And
Also,
that's the
one
key.
other thing. Yeah, one other thing I just want to say about Wall-E that I find a really awesome choice again is there's that central musical number that they play throughout it,
Sure.
which is from Hello Dolly, which is a movie no one like, under 50 has heard of except me because it's a Best Picture nominee. Um, and it's like you would expect a song that's well known
Yeah.
in there, like a romantic song that most people would like. Oh, I remember that song,
Yeah.
but they choose something that no one has heard of, and
Well,
I love that.
it goes with the theming of relic and
True, yes,
remembrance, right? Where everyone is expecting them to go with something everybody knows, but the fact that they choose something that hits their theme really well, and even its own existence is kind of forgotten to time, very much like Wally is, it really hits home that thought process of we are telling the story of something forgotten and where it
Mhm.
finds its place in the world. And it is a true testament to Pixar in the fact that they Ratatouille, Wally, and Up are all like in a 3 year span. And they are deeply emotional films, all for different
Yeah,
reasons, but they are deeply emotional films because they make you care about something that, generally speaking, you would never care about.
yeah. Wally's also it comes out in 2008, which is the year before the Academy extends their Best Pictures to nine, anywhere from 8 to 10.
Yeah.
So I think Wally would have been nominated had it been 10, along with Dark Knight,
I
obviously.
mean,
But
those two are the ones that are robbed the most by that standard. Those two both kind of go, fuck you. We're better than all these movies that you nominated. Come
yeah,
on. And I think it's
okay.
phenomenal they did that.
You're
Well,
number five.
we'll stick with animation. It's the high, as you know, not a lot of animation on my list. I found
No,
out in analysis, I'm not a big animation guy. Apparently, I have no problem
that's
with it,
fair. A lot of people are.
but this is so highly important to me. We're going to take you to 1993. It's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it Halloween? Is it Christmas? Perhaps it is Thanksgiving. I don't know. What I do know is it's the definitive film of a genre that is far too underappreciated in stop motion. The blend of music, themes, and imagery is that of a Rembrandt. My God, Tim Burton and company were riding high in the early 90s, and it has profoundly changed my life. That the work that they did in the early 90s is just implanted in my
Do you,
brain.
do you tend to watch it more at Halloween time or more at Christmas time?
I have
For you personally.
I have found it's now Christmas, but it's more so this. I always try to watch it Halloween, and mostly what I've found is, especially after doing the show where we did last year, the Halloween calendar, and I put it on my Halloween calendar where we made 31 films for October, that oddly, because of weather and climate change, I don't get into Halloween season as fast anymore as I used to
Sure.
because the temperature doesn't drop. The leaves don't really change half the time now until the middle of October, where it used to be very reliably mid to early late September. You could guarantee there was already going to be color on the trees here and everything
Yeah.
else. So it's kind of pushed it. And the other thing is, in a really nice way, it has become something where Ab got me the actual book that Tim Burton drew and wrote for himself, and the original poem that he created to make the story. And so I read that every Christmas Eve. And then Ab's family always watches White Christmas. And so the one I got in, because I was like, God, I watch this 7 times a year with you in a 24-hour span. Throw me a fucking bone. And I finally got my mother-in-law Cindy to watch it, and she went, "Oh wow, this is really good." I was like, "I know, I wasn't lying to you when I said it's really good."
Yeah.
And it's a
I think
really
she'd be
quick film.
surprised that there's probably about 100 Christmas movies that are better than White Christmas.
Yes, it's just the families. It's
Yeah.
just their family thing, right? But now it's kind of become my thing, and even if everyone gets really tired, I always stay up on Christmas Eve and I watch it because it's my me time during a time where it can be stressful around more people as I become a more anxious creature. So that 80 to 90 minutes I spend in Halloween Town is very, very precious and sacred to me. So yes, it has become more of a Christmas film for me. But
Yeah.
I consider it both. I think it's the perfect blend of what I need in a Christmas movie, which is it's not overly Christmas. So
Sure. Uh, yeah, one of the things I really like about it is there's like really great behind the scenes making of for that
yes,
movie, and I love seeing how like they have like 30 different heads that they can pop onto Jack because
yes,
like each one has like one for each kind of sound that humans make when they speak English. I love seeing all that. It's awesome.
it's a fun. Another one. If you have Netflix, which I know a lot of people are dropping Netflix because it's exorbitantly expensive, which
Scam.
I might be joining you soon once Stranger Things is over. I just need to get through Stranger Things to have it. Depends if I can find another source for the Great British Baking Show, frankly. But Netflix has the movies that made us series, and they're
Uh-huh.
great behind the scenes. They have a phenomenal episode about The Nightmare Before Christmas, and it really details how Tim Burton got really frustrated during that production because he couldn't. Everyone thinks because it's his story that he directed it, and he does not
Yeah.
direct that film. It's Henry Selick who does a phenomenal. That entire team does such a great job. But they kind of took it in a Scooby Doo esque direction of who's Oogie Boogie in the end, and he's like, Burton kicked a hole in the wall because he was so mad that they tried to change it up. He's like, no, Oogie Boogie is just Oogie Boogie. Don't try to make him anything else. Don't give me
Oh,
this
okay.
Scooby Doo
Yeah.
horse shit. Just fucking make what I told you to make. And he gets so frustrated.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, because it's his baby. But
Well, not only that, this just seems like a weird choice to make.
I think that's what stands the test of time. Is it's just a true story. It doesn't try to be I think that's people thinking that's a really good idea in the moment because they have this preconceived notion of what children's programming is supposed to be.
Well, the thing I'm thinking of is like Scooby Doo is inherently a mystery. Where
Hmm.
you're trying to figure out who is this person. You know it's someone disguised as something.
Right.
Nightmare Before Christmas is not like that.
Right. Well, Scooby Doo taught us that the real villain is always a human being.
Yes.
Humans are always the real villains, which is why the movies are fun because they actually give you real supernatural threats as opposed to humans. Having said that, though, with Nightmare, I don't know of many other films in which someone's imagination is truly brought to life. We always say, "Oh, their imagination brought to life." There is so much good work that Tim Burton does, and his aesthetic is so striking. I would argue it is one of, if not the most striking visual representation any director's ever had. Where the second you see it, you're like, "Well, that's Tim Burton." It's very like
Yeah.
Wes Anderson's the only other person I can think of where you look at one picture and you would just want Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's an auteur movie.
But this truly just goes, what if we brought every thought Tim ever had straight to life and we made it look the way Tim sees it? And we take his art style that he's not that great of an artist, but he's great at communicating what he's feeling through things. What if we
Yeah.
just took that and brought that to life? It's
Yeah.
so
I do
visually
think
interesting and perfect.
I do think stop motion is the perfect like medium for Tim Burton.
Oh, yeah.
Just because there's a weird jankiness to stop motion.
Yes.
A good marriage there.
Well, it's also why I love films like Paranorman, which I can't remember if Paranorman made my list or not, but it does have that stop motion aesthetic,
Yeah.
and there's something about horror or mystery or thriller that really fits that genre because, like you said, there's just something that has that little off human touch where it's
Mhm.
never perfect, but because it's kind of uncanny,
Yeah.
it is perfect.
Yeah.
And to see how fluid some of the motion is with some of the jankiness is so much fun. Obviously, the end where they embrace each other, it doesn't look quite right, but it fits so well as the hilltop stretches out and everything.
Yep.
Chef's kiss. It was also a Grail
Okay.
movie for me because I saw it as a child. Like 10 years went by to the point where I was like, did I just imagine this in my head? And then I finally was at someone else's house for a Halloween. I went, I remember this! And both mom and dad were like, who cares? And I was like, no, you don't understand. This has been implanted in my brain for 10 years.
Yeah.
I want this film immediately. I need it.
I was just looking if I had it on VHS, but I don't.
Great movie.
It's one I gotta get. I'll take you from one sort of Christmas movie to another sort of Christmas movie.
Interesting.
It's a Wonderful Life, number 4 for me.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever actually sat and watched that all the way through. Obviously, I know it. I've seen so much of it, but
I'll just say it's going to be a disappointment to you, considering it's number 4 for me, because you're probably going to be expecting more than what it is.
sure.
Just to me, this is like the quintessential Frank Capra movie, who is a director I absolutely love. I would probably put him in my top 5 of all time. It's everyone considers it a Christmas movie for some reason.
Sure.
So it's like maybe 10 minutes total in Christmas. Actually, I take that back. It's probably more like 20. I think Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed, who you always say Lauren Bacall is like the most beautiful woman of all time.
Yep.
Me, Donna Reed, all the
Okay.
way.
Okay.
I love her so much. I think her and Jimmy Stewart are the best movie couple of all time.
That says a lot. That says a lot, my dude.
They're fantastic together. And then Jimmy Stewart has like maybe like 2 or 3 of the best monologues of all time in that movie that I just think are fantastic. The reason I say it's like the quintessential Frank Capra movie is Frank Capra's movies are always they always have like a running theme of like people are good at their very core. You just have to get around to that. And that's what Jimmy Stewart's like whole thing is in that movie. It's just like he constantly is sacrificing for people just because he's a good person,
Yeah.
and like he puts other people before himself the whole movie, and then there's a great reward at the end for him. Um, yeah,
Well,
it's
it's the
like the
inspiration for
theme.
Spielberg. Spielberg takes so much from Capra and
Oh,
loves Capra's
yes,
work. And at the core of many of Spielberg's movies is the exact same thing. Is people
yes,
are good and good people should be rewarded for being good.
yes. It's like Frank Capra's always asking like a question of like, can you still have simple, honest like goodness when you're facing the realities of the world? That's really his whole thing. It's pretty much what he's asking during every single movie of his. Maybe like Arsenic and Old Lace, which is just an out and out comedy.
Yeah.
Um, I just think it's one of the best movies ever made.
Good pick.
Also, was a pretty big flop at the time.
It's crazy to realize how many movies that have stood the test of time were not that at the when they came
Hmm.
out. Wizard of Oz
Yep.
is the exact same thing. Wizard of Oz did fine, but it wasn't remembered. It wasn't until it started getting played on television that people
Yep.
actually gave a shit about the Wizard of Oz and It's a Wonderful Life. Like it's odd how because Christmas allows you to just being this the reason people care about Christmas is the feeling it gives them. They don't really care. All due respect to anyone who's Christian, I'm not trying to devalue what you believe in. But in terms of the masses, that everyone who celebrates Christmas and gets together with Christmas, regardless of their belief system, like I know
Hmm.
people that have zero religious ties whatsoever to Christmas that come and celebrate Christmas with people. And they really
Yeah.
look forward to it and they really love the season. Because it's the emotions that they get. It's the feeling that they get of
Hmm.
love and belonging and care for one another. And it's a way to allow that softer side of yourself to come out.
Yes.
And it's odd how well Christmas movies can last when they themselves are not truly that good of a movie, but there's just
Oh
something
yeah.
about it that allows people to feel and connect with it that allows it to stay in the consciousness long enough to
Hmm.
become quote unquote a classic or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Does that movie stick forever if it's not a Christmas movie?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
To me, it does because it, for one, it is like pretty much a tangential telling of A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
But like the central question in there is like one everyone has thought of in their life, which is
Sure.
like, what if I was never born?
Yeah, what if I was never here?
I
Yeah.
think I think that's an interesting enough question and premise that it probably still would stick around even if it wasn't Christmassy.
Gotcha. Well, it's a very interesting choice. Much like one of your entries that I'm confident is going to be on here, we have done a full show on this, so I'll try to keep it brief. For my number four, we go to 2008's The Dark Knight. One of my four perfect films, greatest comic book film of all time, and it isn't up for debate. With every piece of brilliance that Christopher Nolan has ever given the world of cinema, this is still his finest work. Although already true, this film solidified that Batman is the icon of American pop culture. It is insane to think of everything that has been done by both a character like Batman and a director of the quality of Christopher Nolan. That still, that marriage between those two things is the best that either has done or has been done for that thing.
Hmm.
Where even Oppenheimer, like all due respect, Oppenheimer's a phenomenal film. I love Oppenheimer. Even Oppenheimer, you're like, yeah, but it ain't The Dark Knight.
To some people, probably just with different sensibilities.
Different
Yeah.
sensibilities, but the Dark Knight allows people. I've heard this said about Game of Thrones, and of all things, it was on a comedy show, but it's true. It got people who didn't care about fantasy to care about fantasy.
That's what I was gonna say.
The
Is
the Dark Knight is so incredibly good that it got not people who were on the fringes who needed an excuse to do something that they already wanted to do. It got people
Mhm.
who didn't care at all about comic books, comic book film, anything like that, to care about superheroes in a way they never
Yeah.
had. where they thought, oh, it's just kid stuff and they don't really care. The Dark Knight is what takes that from here to comic book stores are filled with tons of people trying to get new product. They're trying to get new sources to find those holy grails for themselves because they want the same feeling that the Dark Knight gives them. It's such an incredible film.
Yeah, you can kind of like disregard the Batman aspect of it, and it's still a good movie.
Oh yeah,
Like it could just be a vigilante, just dressed in a suit, and it still works.
that movie works as a
Fantastically
western.
well.
That movie works as a thriller. That movie works in so many different ways. Of it's simply put, kind of going back to what we talked about. A Wonderful Life is how people feel. It's as simple a tale as possible when you really think about it. It's just good, evil. How far can good be pushed before it becomes evil?
Hmm.
It's as simple as that. It is one of 4 movies I call perfect for damn good reason. I think it is a perfect film. I truly cannot find a flaw in that film. There's not an ounce of fat on that movie. It's insane.
Also, I just want to quickly say it's in the triad of greatest movie villains of all time, where you get Anton Chigurh, the Joker, and then Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Basterds. Those are the 3 that I always say are like, it's incredible that you get one of the greatest villains of all time in 3 years in a row.
It is insane. Insane to think about. But the Dark Knight is what turned me from I really love Batman to Batman will be a part of my life forever, and I will never let it go ever
Hmm.
because it's just so special to me.
Okay, so we'll go from one IP that you love to an IP that I love.
Alrighty.
Number 3 for me is the Harry Potter series.
I was wondering when it was going to make its appearance.
It it usually is number 1 for me, but because I've been intentionally avoiding it, because I'm like, I really want to save it up and watch it when I really feel like it. It's been a couple years since I've watched any of the movies,
Sure.
so uh, that's where like every time I watch it, I fall in love with it again, which is always a nice thing to have in your life.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's incredible in every single way. It kind of fits any genre you want it to at times.
Sure.
Because there are like aspects of action, there's aspects of fantasy a lot, obviously. There's aspects of horror at times. Like, it kind of hits all those sweet spots.
It's a
for
coming
me.
of age story. It's a comedy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It never loses its core of what it is, which is. It's a very sentimental series. Really is.
Yes. I mean, obviously, the creator is problematic nowadays.
Hyper problematic, yes.
Like I don't agree with most of the things she says. Like I see where she's coming from, where she's like trying to protect women, but you can do that while also not being a huge fucking asshole to other people.
It's just. I had this conversation the other day where it is a perfect example of how human beings make no sense logically.
Yes.
That you can make a story where the most, all due respect to Harry, Dumbledore's the most important character throughout that because he's the architect of everything that's happening from a
Yeah.
counter-attack standpoint. The most important, wise character, the guiding light of your entire series, is, it's not like he's openly flamboyant or anything, but is a gay character. And the fact that
I think that's kind of an afterthought. To be honest, I
Okay.
don't think she had that originally as an idea.
but nonetheless, it's enough where it's fine to do so, right?
Yeah.
And then to just and it's such a welcoming series. There's people of so many ethnicities,
Well, that's what I
so
wanted
many
to say.
cultures.
Is the creator does not take her own theme,
Right.
because to me Harry Potter has always been about 2 things: acceptance and friendship.
Yeah.
And that those are 2 things that she just seems to completely disregard now. And it's so frustrating because of that.
Well, it's difficult. We've had this on the show before, but much like you, Ab has Harry Potter tattoos. It means the world to her,
Hmm.
to the point where still she's like, I will read the books and eventually I will watch the movies again. And
Yeah. On that point, I just want to say if anyone is going to buy the books, buy them used, please. That way you're not
giving her,
continually
giving her money.
rewarding her.
Right.
You can buy them used and you're not supporting her in any kind of way.
Perhaps even pirate them. Who knows?
I wouldn't do that. Just buy the physical things
I know, but
used.
I'm just saying
They're
there are
they're
ways
cheap
to
at
do
this
it.
point.
There's ways to do it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, true.
Just don't give
Also, I
her the
just
money. But you know,
they just released all the audiobooks with a full cast version of it.
oh wow,
I just listened to the Sorcerer's Stone one. I got it for 99 cents, which was nice.
that
But
helps.
it's
Yeah.
got like Hugh Laurie as Dumbledore.
Wow. Okay, we
Um,
got some people in there.
it yeah, Riz Ahmed is Snape. Trying to think of the other people. It was really great. I really loved it a lot. Like I think the most special thing about Harry Potter to me is the fact that they got some of the greatest actors of all time to be in a franchise that never wavers. So like you don't have characters being replaced by other actors except in the fact of Dumbledore, but that's because
Richard Harris
Richard Harris
dies. It's not
died.
because
So they
he wanted to leave.
yeah, exactly. So like he had to be replaced. But like you think of like Alan Rickman, Maggie Smith, Richard Harris, Michael Gambon,
Gary
Helena
Oldman,
Bonham Carter, Gary Oldman,
Ray Fiennes.
yes, Ray Fiennes, Warwick Davis. Like these are like some of the greatest actors of all time, and they're in 8 movies. It's incredible. Like I think other than maybe Lord of the Rings, some of the greatest casting of all time.
In terms of an ensemble, it's hard to argue.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
still,
Robbie Coltrane,
yeah.
fantastic.
I mean, they even nailed the smaller parts that aren't you don't think are that important, but they are.
Sure, like Emma Thompson, that's another fantastic actress that's like kind of a bit player.
Well, both the Dursleys are great character actors
Yeah.
that are really
Fiona
fun to do.
Shaw.
Umbridge is a
Yeah.
great character actress who's been a part of a
Yes,
lot of good
yes.
stuff. I mean, hell, Bill Nye is in there for a film. It's really quick, but he's there.
Yeah. Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah, you have this franchise that Harry Potter as a film series to kind of get away from the negatives of J.K. Rowling as a film series really taught people in a modern context. We're going to build, but we're never going to lose the guiding light of what we're trying to do here. But we're going to build continually over and over again, and we're going to keep reloading with stars. It's kind of like watching the Patriots dynasty, where every time you're like, it's got to be over. They add 2 more players, and you're like, God damn it, I just want someone else to win. That's what Harry Potter feels like to me, where every time you're like, they can't keep upping the game. They add somebody else, and you're like, well, how are you going to argue with
Well,
that?
not only that, you kind of expect at least one of the movies to be like not bad, but like you know pretty mediocre to bad.
Right.
Because like every franchise seems to have that. But I would
Yeah.
argue Harry Potter doesn't have a single bad movie.
No.
Like Chamber of Secrets is my least favorite of them, but it's still a movie I love.
Well, shout out to Chamber of Secrets used in our Complete the Movie Grid game show that we just had in
Yes,
our last
yes,
episode. Spoilers on one of those, but it is, I would argue, I have never seen a franchise age with its audience as well as Harry Potter has. And granted, that is
mm,
intentional, and again, to give credit to a creator, as much as I dislike her as a human being, the woman knew how to write and architect a story. And she really was coherent,
yeah,
and she started backwards to forwards and really knew what she wanted to do, but made a conscious effort to grow up with her audience. And what is insane is the midpoint of that series feels like this culmination event to where I'm not a little kid anymore. And the film reflects it, the book reflects it, where Goblet of Fire happens and you're like, we're in a different world now. We're done playing in the kids and magic and oh my god, this is
Yeah.
so cool. And now we're into the consequences of what a world would be like and what nefarious bad people would do with the power like magic. And now I have to reflect on that. It's very much that piece of coming of age that is not shown enough in many things.
Yeah.
And nothing ages with its audience better than Harry Potter does. And the film series does a really good reflection of that, but also visually, how the characters dress, how the characters, their hair changes, everything changes to really reflect the period of life that they're in. It's so well done.
Yeah. And to that point, it's also like black and white enough for kids to enjoy,
Yes.
but there's also a lot of gray moral area that is really great.
Yes.
And I was trying to find Daniel Radcliffe's quotes when like all this transgender stuff started coming out,
Yeah.
and I finally found it. Because I like that's what I always viewed it as. Is he said, if you found anything in these stories that resonated with you and helped you at any time in your life, then that is between you and the book that you read, and it is sacred.
Yeah.
Like that's what supporting the book is rather than supporting the creator.
Right.
You don't necessarily need to agree with everything the artist does, but
Right.
you can also love the art they make.
Yeah, it's just tough because you know she's a creator that was well protected and protected her work really
Yes.
well, as opposed to other creators that wrote something and didn't get nearly as much money from it. You know she's
Oh,
raking in
yeah.
every dollar possible with Harry Potter
Yeah.
stuff, where other
That
creators made stuff and then most of the money went completely somewhere else.
one of the things I always think about is like at one point she kind of was a guiding light in terms of acceptance.
Yes, she
And then
was.
all of a sudden she just became beyond problematic.
Yeah.
It's like she's like the leading force against acceptance, which is
Well,
really sad to see.
well, it's what I was saying about the human logic side of it is insane to think of how often people can pick and choose their beliefs like a buffet, where they think,
Yeah.
well, everything's fine, but I have a problem with this, and that's like a deal breaker for me. I'm like, so you can accept anybody of any race, anybody of any ethnicity, anybody of any sexual orientation, but the second they say they're trans,
Mhm.
absolutely not. I can't do that. Everything else is
Yeah.
fine except that. I'm like, what if everyone was
And
just
not
fine?
only
What if
and
everyone
not
was
only
just fine?
that, they're implicitly a threat for some reason.
Exactly. Which is the
It,
dumbest, silliest stuff in the world.
you can have the most outlandish thought or idea, and you can find bias to support those ideas.
It's terrible. And
Now, with the internet, you can convince yourself of anything if you try hard
well,
enough.
you can just put yourself in the echo chamber of what you think, and then
Exactly.
just find whatever you want there. But it is sad to see it because again, the Daniel Radcliffe one is some of the best arguments I've heard of. You didn't connect with J.K. Rowling. You
Exactly.
connected with Harry or Hermione or Ron or the whole thing. You connected with a character,
Mhm.
and they meant something to you. Which is why, and it's not like a comic book or something like that, where a comic book, it's been written by hundreds of different people over 70 or 80 years, where there's pieces of Batman, as we just talked about The Dark Knight, where I can read it and go, this sucks, and I hate this writer's idea. Like, Frank Miller is a highly problematic human being who wrote
Yeah.
some of the most prominent Batman stories of all time. And I can look at the work and go, that's interesting, that's fucked, you're out of your fucking mind. I don't like your iteration of this character whatsoever. But then I can go back to creators that I love, like Scott Snyder, or Tom King, or Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee, Neil Adams, all these different people, and go, this is what this character's supposed to be.
Mhm.
And I can just relate to the art and relate to the story that
Yeah.
I'm being told. So it's just difficult because we now live in the age where who knows how many creators of things that really taught good lessons were actually really shitty human beings back in the day.
Oh, you find that out pretty much every year. There's a new person who gets canceled because something.
And
But
it's difficult because the more and more research I do like guarded research on Token because I'm like
uh,
I'm waiting for a skeleton somehow and like some random note no one's found yet or something to come out, and yet it's impossible to find because he was like just so ironclad in what he did that I always every new thing I hear about Token, you're just like, I love this man even more. I love this
well,
man
not
even
only
more.
that, like he didn't have a way to put his thoughts out there 24/7.
Yes.
It drives me crazy, but to me, Harry Potter is always just about acceptance and friendship. Those are like the two themes I think of the most with that.
Yeah, that's tremendous. All right, we'll take you to technically IP here, 2022. Top Gun Maverick is my three.
Ah, again, another surprise that it's that high.
I'll get to that. The movie that saved cinema, plain and simple. If anyone thought the throne of movie star was available, this film ended that conversation for Tom Cruise. This film was a formula for every studio on how to establish new stars, further the career of their most famed stars, and the reverence that is necessary to be successful with a legacy sequel. There's not a better legacy sequel ever made. I don't think we need legacy sequels for the most part. I want to make that very
I'd
clear.
agree.
But if you're going to do it, it has to be as good as Top Gun Maverick. Because if you can't do that, you shouldn't touch it.
Hmm.
I'm telling you right now, Warner Brothers with Goonies, don't fuck me over on this one. Please. Just don't make it.
It will. It will.
But Top Gun Maverick was the first movie I've seen in a theater in a long time. I went in guarded. I went in, I'm like, I don't know, man. And within 5 seconds, every single concern I ever had about that movie, gone. I just went, oh, they're doing it. I just thought they were going to be, you know how they always feel they need to change all the music and change this and change that. They're like, no, we are going straight forward with what this is supposed to be. It's fucking Top Gun. That is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's become an ultimate comfort movie for me where I will just put it on all the time. I don't care. But this is what happened. Like, there are just these few little things where I am someone who doesn't say the original is the best thing ever. I don't automatically just assume the original is the best iteration of something. Because there's a lot of times I enjoy sequels more than I do originals. But in my life, I do have those steadfast, can't be topped. I doubt this can be topped. And then there are these things that come into that genre that challenge it to the point where I have to go, is this my new favorite? You know, I've talked about a little bit on other shows. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is my favorite video game of all time. I've easily put four-figure hours into that game. I'm not surprised if I put five-figure hours into that game. That's how important that game is to me. I played The Witcher 3 and I went, oh fuck. Do I like The Witcher 3 more than I like Skyrim? Top Gun Maverick made me do the exact same thing about the two films that are in front of it for me, where I go, do I like this film more than I like these other ones? This is just such a wonderfully constructed communal experience where nobody dislikes Top Gun Maverick. I have not met a
Yeah.
single person that's like, I don't really like that movie. I'm like, you should go fuck yourself if you have that opinion. That's a stupid opinion to have. Which I know is insane to say about a communal experience, but even I remember even it brought peace at a time when I didn't think I was going to find peace. I brought when our grandfather died. I went to grandma's house and I was staying with her for a little bit after Norm passed away, and mom was there with me, and it just everyone was dealing with so many stressful things, and I just went, let's just sit. We're done. We can't make any more phone calls at 9:30 at night. We can't do anything like that. Let's just sit and watch a movie and enjoy ourselves. And mom's like, well, what'd you bring? I was like, I've got Top Gun Maverick. She's like, oh, really? I haven't seen that, but I've heard really good things. And mom and I sat and watched Top Gun Maverick during that time, and it just brought her peace at a time that she needed some peace. And other people had the exact same experience when we watched. And I just went, I already loved it before that even happened. It's not simply because it was important at a time when we needed a little solace. It's just a movie that is so much fun. It's so enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn good. It's so goddamn good.
Yeah. I when I first saw it, I watched it twice in a row. Not in theater because I hate theaters, but at home. The only gripe I have with Top Gun Maverick is Tom Cruise does tend to over exaggerate everything is in camera, which is just an out and out lie. I'm sorry, it is. Like the visual effects are so well hidden
Yeah.
that you never doubt that statement. But without a doubt, I can say 100% there's a lot of visual effects in that movie.
Oh, of course there is.
It's incredible because it looks amazing. And I will give what Joseph Kaczynski
Yeah,
is that
just Kaczynski, yeah.
the way he films the battle sequences in the air is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Like I love the shots where they're in the cockpit. And because they're actually flying for real, it looks amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like it is incredible what they do.
Well, did you notice the same thing in F1 when you watched F1?
Yes, it was a little bit like Joseph, hey, you're treading a little bit too close here.
Yes.
You can't just keep making the same movie.
Yes. But it was something that I really enjoyed about F1 because I do love that
Yeah.
feel because it's very clear that Brad Pitt and Damon Idris are in the car doing stuff
Yes.
that it gives it that reality to it. So I am very happy with when Kaczynski does stuff because he's very much I want to make you feel it. I don't want you to just see it. I want you to feel it and it has to feel real. Yes, it is over the top with some of that stuff. But they found a way to even modernize silly stuff that fan base loves. The fact that they found a way to find a cheesy sports scene because everyone, even though it's oddly homoerotic and doesn't really fit with anything, everyone loves that fucking volleyball scene from the original Top Gun.
Yeah.
And they found a way to still put another one in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, in terms of a legacy sequel, they do a great job of playing off the original
Yes.
while also kind of making stuff their own. Because, like, the football scene is pretty much an out and out rip off of the volleyball scene,
1,000%.
but it still plays off well enough where it's like still 100% enjoyable. It doesn't just feel like fan service.
Well, the other thing I like about it is beyond the fact that it could be seen as fan services, it actually does further character development and it's
Yes.
different where the volleyball game is just a way to show he loves Goose and he hates Iceman.
Yeah.
And it's really competitive where in this one he's turned it into no, that was actually a bonding experience with my rivals that I look back really fondly where now he just goes, "Oh, I need to bring them together." And now Bob is, he has his first good moment with Rooster in the entire film since you start learning about their relationship when Rooster pulls him up. Phoenix gets a lot of respect during that. Bob gets to have the last touchdown. Everyone loves Bob. It's just one of those. It takes something and changes it to really show the value of what it was beforehand, but make it its own. I just think they do everything so well. And the best part is, as good as the action scenes are at the end, I think the entire end is so good. The best scene is that test run. And
100%.
and it's just one guy flying a plane against air. That's all it is when you actually break it down. But the way it's shot, the tension that it's giving, everything, it's just so well done. I fucking love Top Gun Maverick. God, I love Top Gun Maverick so much.
Yeah. I do think it got robbed a little bit of the Oscars because I really think it deserved editing,
Yep.
which it was nominated for, but it was not nominated for cinematography, and I really thought there was a chance it was going to. I don't think it obviously should win, but I was like, that's kind of an oversight in my opinion.
I don't think it's an oversight. I think it deserves to actually have a chance to win because of the way it was shot. People think it's so fucking easy to do it. Well, just film the plane. It ain't that easy.
No.
Especially
Also,
when you got the Blue Angels doing half the shit they're doing to make these planes look awesome. It ain't easy to show that shit. The Cobra maneuvers and all these other stuff that they're doing, it's hard to do.
I also want to say, like, I hope Joseph Kosinski continues to use the same little stable of actors
Yeah,
because he has a couple of repeats in Top Gun Maverick and F1.
yeah.
And I'd love to see like a return to the old Hollywood style where it's like
Let's get the
this
band back
director,
together.
yeah, this director uses the same five character actors in every single movie.
Well, it's kind of like Tarantino now always has Sam Jackson in the movie if he
Yeah,
can. He always try, and if he doesn't use you in one, he tries to bring you back in another one. And he's always smart. He always uses new people, so it never feels like it's just we're getting the band back together. But all the time, he's getting the band back together, and it's really fun
yeah,
to watch. I the other thing about Top Gun Maverick that I think is so smart is you watch Top Gun Maverick and you think it's going to be super gimmicky, like, oh, we got to get a new crop of pilots. And you think it, at first you're like, I don't know about this. Every one of them is a star waiting to happen. And it was very much when so many people want to criticize Tom Cruise, rightfully so in some cases. I don't want to say it's not rightfully so. About how he makes Tom Cruise movies and he only cares about Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise really cares about the movie industry. And this was his, okay, you think I can't do that? I will make an entire cast of people that are ready to be stars, and only one of them is actually a star right now. Where Miles Teller's an actual star, but I'm going to
yeah.
elevate Glenn Powell. I'm going to elevate Monica Barbaro. I'm going to try to give
Well,
Jay
one of the
Ellis a
things
chance. I'm going to get Tarzan Davis a chance. I'm going to give them all a possibility here.
I don't think the thing is like Miles Teller had been in a lot of stuff. I don't think most audiences really liked him all that much before Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that. Yeah.
Like there seemed to be like a downfall of his career until Top Gun Maverick,
Right.
where he becomes extremely likable again.
Yeah.
Like you said, like I think they unintentionally launched potential movie stars again.
I don't think that was unintentional. I think that's 1,000% intentional.
Well, what you said before with like this is before all a Tom Cruise vehicle.
Yeah.
But like within that, they're also launching all these young, great actors' careers.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just reviewed it. It's up and ready for you if you want to watch the Running Man review. Anybody or listen to it. I mean, the standout of that film when you're not talking about Tom Cruise is Glenn Powell. Look where Glenn Powell is right now. They're trying to really make him a star. Where people
Yeah,
go to see movies. Because
Monica was nominated
yeah.
for Best Supporting Actress. I'm sure you haven't seen A Complete Unknown,
No.
the Bob Dylan movie.
You'll be shocked. A musical artist biopic is not my cup of tea, as I've
Yeah,
raged against them so often on the show.
I don't love Bob Dylan either, but
Yeah.
she was really great in that movie. And then Tarzan was just in the newest
Mission
Mission
Impossible.
Impossible movies.
Right. I was really happy when they had Jay Ellis in that. He plays Payback. I
Yeah,
and Danny Ramirez, who's Fanboy, another one who's now in the Marvel franchise, and he's really trying to make a push as well.
yeah.
Hey, Jay Ellis is
Bruce
someone.
Pullman.
Yes, Lewis Pullman, who's really making a push now too. Again, also a new Marvel entry. Jay Ellis is someone who I had watched on Insecure. It's an HBO series, and it's a oh my god, Issa Rae is the lead of
Oh
the
yeah,
series. That's a really fun show, and every time I wasn't crazy about the show, but I would watch it a lot with Ab when Ab loved the show, and every time Jay Ellis was on screen, I'm like, that is a movie star waiting to happen. I'm like, that is a guy who if they do not make a concerted effort to push, are wrong, because the guy's just got this natural likability and charisma to him that I'm like, just push him, just go with it and see where it goes.
yeah. I like going back to Tom Cruise. He's like one of the most confusing people in the world.
Yes, he is.
Not just movie people, just people in the world.
Yeah.
Out of the whatever 6 billion humans on the world, he is confusing as hell.
Oh yeah.
Because he seems to be one, an egomaniac, two, a fantastic human being. It's like those two don't go together.
Well,
Like
it's
everything I've heard about him, where he's like going on red carpets and stuff, he is so dedicated to just speaking to the other person and making them feel warm and welcome. Where
yeah.
it's like You're confusing, Tom.
No, it's so hard because Scientology is somewhere in his background, and you don't know how
Yeah.
removed he is anymore. Because after the Scientology scandals of the mid 2000s with him,
Hmm.
and all the documentaries that came out in the next decade about Scientology that really painted the picture of what Scientology is in terms of their corporate structure and everything else, that it's difficult because you know how terrible that structure is, and you know he's benefited the most and helped it the most. But at the same time, everybody, even during those times, everybody who talks about Tom Cruise never has a negative thing to say about him.
Exactly.
And it's so
Exactly.
difficult. I remember even one of his worst films, Rock of Ages, 2010. Professional wrestler Kevin Nash plays a little bit character, and he's always the 7 foot tall guy. He's in Magic Mike. Kevin Nash is in a ton of shit
Hmm.
as just the giant, and he's just like, oh, at first I thought Tom Cruise was a total prick, but it's because he was just surrounded by security and all this stuff. And finally, there was a moment where he got to actually just talk, and he's like, nicest guy I've ever met in my life. It's just he's
Exactly. Yeah.
surrounded by all these handlers and all these people at the
Hmm.
time that were like, oh no, you can't get to Tom, and we're really rude about it. But then when you actually talk to Tom Cruise, you're like, he's the nicest guy in the world. He's so
Yeah. It's
accepting, he's so
confusing.
loving, and he hand makes fucking pies and shit and cakes for like 400 to 500 people every year. I've heard a story. John Hamm tells it about it where there was a group of movie stars that get together for games on Sunday to watch football, and they're like, Tom's interested in coming, and Tom Cruise like, hey, would you guys mind if I brought my mom with me? And they're like, absolutely. He's bringing his mom to football games with movie stars, and he's so well. It's like, dude, this is so hard to figure out, dude.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
come out and
I mean,
denounce
I'm
Scientology, and everyone will be like, greatest dude in the world.
exactly like if he just denounced it, it'd be like, "Hey, Tom, nice job."
Exactly. Everyone would shut the fuck up. He'd win 3 Oscars because they'd finally recognize his talent. It'd be fine.
Yeah. I will say I do. I would like to see him have a little return to like more dramas because
That
I do think
that
he's an
early to
underrated actor.
that early to mid '90s time period where he got away from
Yeah,
all the action.
where like the ones I'm thinking of are the late '80s to early '90s.
Right.
Like, Born on the Fourth of July. Arguably, he could have won an Oscar for that, and like even stuff like The Firm. I think he's great in, but
Well, even
he
going
does
to,
seem to be very motivated to keep making stuff where he could potentially die.
of course, has to.
He's chasing that adrenaline.
Well, it's a hell of a drug, you know.
Yeah, apparently.
All right, take us to your number two.
My number two is Schindler's List.
Wow. I mean, it's over your
Yep.
left shoulder right now, so
Yeah, not only do I think it's the greatest movie ever made, I think it's one of the most important movies in history.
it's.
I know you watched it and thought it was not as great as
I don't think it's a bad
what
movie.
it.
In no way am I going to criticize and say it's the bad movie, but beyond just likability, there is a part of me that thinks Jurassic Park is still a better movie in this 1993 for Spielberg than Schindler's List. I know no one else would argue that point.
Some people would.
Apparently, I'm one of them. With Schindler's List, yes, I have my issues with it where I don't. I think one thing is it's been talked about as so dark that I was so prepared to see the most heinous, evil shit ever. And I don't want to say it's not dark. It's dark.
Yeah, it definitely is at times.
But it's not nearly as dark as it was sold to me, so I was kind of like, all right. Like, I was expecting to see the truest horror possible of the Holocaust, and I'm not rooting for that. It's not like I'm going in being like, I can't wait to see that, right? But I think it does a better job of showcasing the dark emotions of that period than it does actually showing the true
Yeah.
heinous nature of
Yeah,
what occurred.
I one of the things I love about it is whenever you see a biopic of pretty much any historical figure,
Yeah.
they always tend to whitewash their history. But do they do that? They're very kind to Schindler in the movie,
Yes.
like when you compare it to the real story. But they do at least put a lot of like gray morality in there, where it's like you can tell he's profiting off this war,
Oh yeah,
and he's profiting off being a kind of shitty person at times.
1000%.
But then you do see the change throughout his character and what comes to be why he's known as a historical figure. Like, there's enough gray morality in there to where I don't find it problematic, and I think it's a good biopic because of that.
I think that does help a lot. Is so many people think of this as a strict period piece, and it's not solely a period piece. It is.
And it's not really even a war movie.
No, it is not. It is a biopic. That's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
It is a true character study of a man put in circumstances that are extraordinary. And it challenges his own conventions to the point where he has to go. And what's really interesting and cool is seeing that person at the beginning, and you're not sure he would ever be able to use the Avengers line, make the sacrifice play, put the one on the line, and then to see him at the end in tears, just going, "I could have saved more, I could have done more," and it's the greatest human experience to witness, where someone's like, "Look at all you did." He's like, "I could have done more. I will never be able to forgive myself because I could have done more." And it's a really interesting vibe to see because it's true to form. It's true to human beings. When they're in those extraordinary circumstances, how many people that, for right or wrong, for however well told that story is or how well it is somewhat whitewashed, they're kind to Schindler, as you said. I don't want to make it out to be greatest human being of all time because he's not. But at the end of the day, he makes an extremely heroic choice to save hundreds of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the fact that he still reflects that he didn't do enough really showcases humanity at its finest.
I do think this is a very important movie to show to younger people. I first watched it in high school. I think you did as well.
I didn't, actually. I don't know what it was. I just
wow.
That's why it was so long, and I've known about it. And the most relevant thing about Schindler's List to me for the longest time was the Seinfeld episode about it.
Yes. Which also, it should be said, a great episode.
A great episode.
But I watched it sophomore year for our history class, and like I do think it's important to show these younger people some stuff that's dark. People nowadays, their parents seem to be so overprotective about everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, it might harm them in some way, but it's like, no, Schindler's List is very matter of fact in its portrayal of things. And I think that is honestly the best way to show the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Like I just read a novel based on a true story. It's called The Tattooist of Auschwitz. And it's like incredibly dark at times, but it's all just matter of fact about how this person sees all these atrocities happen, but he's just like, I'm turning off the emotion of it. Like that's the only way I can survive this. I think that's the best way to portray it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting vibe. I mean, you're correct. We live in a society where too many people are trying to protect to the point where we wonder why the generations of people that are now becoming adults feel so immature and feel like they're not ready for the world. It's because you're not preparing them for it.
Not only that, when you don't... One of the biggest, like... Probably some of the things I get most mad about is just, like, Holocaust denial.
Yeah,
which is
so dumb.
It's been a thing since probably the 70s. I've definitely seen movies about it in the 80s. But it's like, if you don't show these things, people forget it. And that's the main thing that Spielberg was trying to get across was like, hey, we need to educate these people so that these things don't get forgotten. So they can't happen again.
Right, you mean so U.S. senators and U.S. House of Representatives don't have American flags mixed with Nazi flags? Trying to do stupid fucking... And then that was a doctored image. You're like, no, it wasn't. You're a fucking lunatic who never should have been voted in. You're an evil piece of shit.
Yeah.
And anyone who voted for you, had you been honest, some of them wouldn't have voted for you, and the people who would have voted for you anyways are fucking garbage. They're human
Yeah.
garbage, and they shouldn't be voted in. If you still believe in Nazi beliefs, even if you did it in the first place, you're human garbage, and you don't deserve to have a say. You just
Yeah.
don't. And
Yeah. It's the with the matter of factness. I can't remember where I heard it, but it's like the banality of evil.
mhm,
Where it's like these people weren't doing it purely out of hate. It was just so unemotional as a choice for them.
yep,
Where it's just like, oh, yep, we can do this because we can.
it's so
It's
fucked.
it's important to learn about.
No, it's a very well made movie.
Also, there's like 10 points in that movie where it's like a guaranteed cry for me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's like at least 5 or 6 moments where it's like I could be so unemotionally attached to watching the movie, like I could be on my phone or something.
Yeah.
I don't do that when I watch it, but like it would still guaranteed
Oh, of
make me
course.
cry. Also, I do think it's John Williams' second best score.
What's his first?
I'll get to that with my number one pick.
Okay, okay. All right, I'll take you to my number two movie that arguably is even better filmmaking than Schindler's List. We're going to go 2010's Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Wow. Okay.
All right, to use my beloved
Uh,
to use my beloved brother's favorite descriptor, my cozy film. Anytime I need to feel better, this film is usually the one chosen to help me through what I'm doing. A brilliant twist on a genre while still having some spectacularly ridiculous kill scenes to fit the horror genre. I love this movie.
Another movie I thought would be somewhere in the range of like 40 to 50,
Yeah.
considering it's number two. Kind of crazy.
It's just one of those, I've watched it so many times, and every time it still allows me to just escape. It just allows me to. There are days that I've had deeply depressive episodes. There are days that I've had deeply anxious episodes or even panic attacks. There are days that just the world wants to beat you to shit that I've had. And at the end of the day, I got through it by putting on Tucker and Dale versus Evil and allowing my brain to just go, what the fuck is happening? I don't care. Wow, that guy just went through a wood chipper. That's insane.
Yep.
And it's the twist on the genre is what always impresses me. The fact that what if we made two local yokel fucking hillbillies the heroes of this movie, and the whole thing's based off a misunderstanding?
Yeah. I will say, in terms of like twists on a on the horror genre, I do prefer this over Cabin in the Woods,
Yeah,
which is like the obvious choice.
right. I
But
love Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods is great, but it's not Tucker and Dale. Tucker and Dale's a
I think
different animal.
I actually think Tucker and Dale is more creative
I do too.
in terms of being subversive.
I think it's so well done. And it's so relatable with just, you know, local bumble guy gets the girl in the end and you're rooting for him. So it has all these classic tropes, but at the same time can tell this absurd story of how people just
Yeah.
end up in these horrific horror movie deaths and they're all comedic. Kids running away because the guy's chasing him with a chainsaw because he's getting stung by bees, but he thinks he's being chased with a chainsaw,
Yeah.
and he just runs into a sharp fucking fallen tree.
Tucker and Dale is like if Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David tried making a horror movie.
Pretty much.
Where it's like it's just all misunderstanding.
Yes.
The entire time.
Yes.
Like, there's actually no problems happening. It's just the way people read those things.
Yeah. Also, just the really, really over the top, stupid moments where
Oh yeah.
I just love, when they carve into the log and they misspell the word friend. And it's just so stupid because you're like, what are we doing here, guys? But it's the best possible version of like, we got your friend. Well, we left him a message. And to them, it's like they carved a message into a log about how they took our friend hostage.
Yeah.
But they're like, what if we leave him a note? With what? Oh, let's use the hatchet. Let's carve it into the... It's so stupid. in all of its absurd misunderstandings. That I absolutely do. The thing that you just said, if Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David made a horror movie, I think that in subconsciously is the reason I love it so much.
Yeah.
Because it does play out like a horror version of a Seinfeld episode where it's just a series of how people react and misunderstand a situation that gets it.
Yep.
I love Tucker and Dale so well.
Now that I say that, I'd love to see that.
That'd be so much fun.
But but I'd still want Costanza to be the main character.
Oh yeah, you can't you,
'Cause
you can't have it without George.
I think George Costanza might be one of the greatest characters ever made.
I don't think
Like,
I know he is.
like I maybe would put him in like a top 10 characters of all time.
I always think of just not even the most well known lines of all time. Like obviously everyone knows the Jerry, it's not a lie if you believe it. Like everyone knows lines like that. But I love when they're talking about the shipwreck that his new neighbor
Oh yes,
uses to try to get the apartment. He's like, "That's no
yeah,
tragedy."
yeah.
Like just shit like that where you're like, he's so self-involved.
He-
He has no semblance of
yes,
care whatsoever. And that's what makes this movie really well for me, just like a George Costanza scene. It's just I love the newspaper clipping montage, and the one they land on is Chili Dog Depot, buy 3 get 2 free, no expiration date. Score. And it's like, do you not see the rest of the newspaper clippings? Oh, he must have been a real news junkie. Like just stupid shit like that. It's so funny to me. That's what I just
I,
it's so cozy. I love Tucker and Dale.
I was also gonna say cozy is subjective.
Yes.
What you find cozy, I might not find cozy.
Right.
So like that's one of the things I really love about that descriptive
Yeah.
word. Is like it's different for everyone.
The other thing is it passes your test real easy under 2 hours. Nowhere near 2 hour film, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so it passes that test well. But I love Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. It's phenomenal. One day, I promise you, that is one movie where I'm like, we will cover that film. There's no way we will not cover that movie.
Okay. Number one for me, we had a whole full episode on it already, so I don't have too much to talk about, is Jaws.
1975's Jaws. I heard that movie's pretty good.
It's another movie where always is in the top five, but kind of floats around the top five.
Sure.
But for whatever reason, when I made this list, I was like, you know what? I think Jaws is the best movie ever made. I don't care.
What's crazy is hearing Jaws is one of the few movies where 100 people can tell you crazy good opinions about it, and it still will not live up to what they told you. Like, it'll surpass that.
Yeah, I do think that's true.
It's one of those where I first watched Jaws.
Unless you're four teenagers on their phone in the theater, that makes me never want to return to the movie.
Yeah,
theater again.
that really brought the world some bad vibes. That was some bad juju on their part.
Literally, four people made me never want to return.
It really hurt Marcus Theaters. Like, you're hurting me as a stockholder of Marcus Theaters because
Yes.
you were a go-to customer that was there all the time, and now you've really hurt our stockhold. It is insane how well Jaws holds up. I remember I was never really had an interest in Jaws, and I kind of discounted Spielberg for a long period of my life, where I always thought, yeah, I mean, yes, he did indie, but okay. Because a lot of the movies that he was making at the time that we were growing up were not movies that were enjoyable to kids. You know, he was making...
Yeah.
He was making, like, the most recent movie he made during our childhood or adolescence where we really became movie watchers was Catch Me If You Can. Then he was making stuff like Munich and
Minority
War Horse.
Report.
Yeah, but Minority Report was even before Catch Me If You Can.
I think they're the same year.
Because I think Minority Report's 2001, if I recall.
Let me look.
But War of the Worlds was not something I was really interested in. He's making stuff like Munich. He was making Lincoln. He was making...
Yeah.
he transitioned into I make serious dramas. I don't make blockbuster
Blockbusters.
fare anymore. And it honestly it was a trip I had to take alone because my wife was already there. I I flew for the first time I ever flew alone, and the first time I flew international was the same flight. And I was 14 and a half hours to Hong Kong, and then I had another 3 hours to Bangkok, Thailand. And I had 4 hours in the Hong Kong airport. And that's when I found out Asian Netflix at the time way fucking better than American Netflix because there's no competition. They had like
Most other countries.
they had every Spielberg movie straight on download, and I finally was given some more of a chance to stuff. And I went, I'm just gonna download all these classics, so then I have them when I if
Yeah.
I need just a touch of home on this trip. I watched Jaws on a flight for the first time, all the way through from Hong Kong to Bangkok, and I went, "This is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. This is so incredibly good
Yep.
and holds up
Yeah.
so well."
So Spielberg, when we kind of started getting online about movies,
Yeah,
it went AI 2001, Minority Report, and Catch Me If You Can are the same year, 2002,
right,
and then The Terminal, War of the Worlds, and Munich.
right.
So it's like, yeah, it would have been easy for us to overlook it. And it kind of was easy for us to overlook it because at the time, it's not like we knew Spielberg made Indy.
Yeah.
So I do think it's easy to overlook him if you're a younger person.
Well, also, not like we didn't watch E.T. growing up. I mean, you might have, but I that was not a movie that was
No,
introduced to me very young.
I saw that in my teens. Yeah,
And like I didn't know Hook was a Spielberg movie. I just knew it was a Peter Pan movie.
yeah,
That's all I knew about it. I didn't know it was a
yep.
Spielberg movie. That's a movie from childhood I absolutely adored. Had someone told me it was Steven Spielberg earlier on in life, I would have been like, "Oh, I like Steven Spielberg," but
Hmm.
I didn't know that. And Jurassic Park I didn't get into until my 20s. I wasn't a kid who was obsessed with dinosaurs. I didn't care. And I
Yeah,
actually kind of hated anyone who was like, "Oh, dinosaurs." I'm like, "Dinosaurs are not nearly as cool as half the other shit we can think about as children. Give me fucking Batman. Give me all this fantasy shit. I don't give me superheroes. I don't want dinosaurs." So a
hmm,
lot of the movies that now mean a lot to me and why I consider him the best of all time, the greatest of all time. I didn't even know they were his movies or I wasn't interested as a youth.
yeah,
Now I'll track down any movie and give it a chance, even if people are like, it's really not that good. I'm like, I don't care, it's Spielberg. I'm sure I'll like it.
exactly. Yeah, I just watched Duel again for the first time in like 15 years, probably.
Sure.
And I was like, yeah, it's clear why he is one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. Because that movie is nothing. It's just two cars driving, and somehow he makes it interesting.
It's
It's just like
it's wild.
he was so clearly made to make movies
Yes.
because he inherently knows how to film stuff.
Yes.
Which, I mean, that's not a talent everyone has.
When you watch Spielberg is to watch Michael Jordan. You
Yeah.
don't it's to watch the greatest at what they do. It's watching Rembrandt. It's watching Beethoven play piano. It's seeing somebody who is at the absolute pinnacle of their field do what they do, and there's just this mystic magic quality that you cannot replicate.
Mhm.
All due we talk about it in athletics all the time. It doesn't matter. I love LeBron. I think LeBron's phenomenal. He ain't Michael Jordan. Because anytime I thought about it, I'd go back and watch '90s Bulls clips, and I went, nope, nobody is this guy. When you watch a Spielberg movie, you just go, why does it look this way? And why does it work so well? Where if someone else literally had the exact same shot, for some reason, it wouldn't work as well as when Steven Spielberg does it.
Mhm.
Where it just he brings out this emotion and evokes this emotion in somebody that is it's an uncanny ability to be great that no one else
Yeah.
has ever possessed on his
Yeah,
level.
and then just a couple things on Jaws. I do think it's the best score of all time. for a movie. I think it's John Williams' best, and I do think it has one of the greatest monologues of all time with Quint's monologue in the boat.
That's fair.
It like that scene is just three people talking, and then it turns into one person talking, and it's like some of the most gripping stuff in the movie.
Right. Well, I'll give you some competition with my next one, but to close out Jaws, we've done a full episode of Jaws. It's in the archives, so go check it out wherever you are. It was a really fun show to do, and it was really great to be part of that blockbuster, that big box office episode a couple months ago to do Jaws. I'll give you some competition for both score and John Williams. My number one, which I have danced around so many fucking episodes on, it's 1981's Raiders of the Lost Ark is my number one film. I wanted to just write one word. I stopped, but I didn't give a lot of a write-up for it. But the one word started it. It's perfection. Star,
I'd agree.
story, supports, storytellers. It is superb. If I had
Stunts.
if I had to watch one movie in my entire lifetime, this is the one I would pick. It's also, I love intense. I love really meaty icebreakers. I hate basic icebreakers. So when I used to lead stuff, I'd always challenge people with like absurd questions that they're like, oh god, I have to actually think. I can't just give a, oh, what was your cat's name? The kind of bullshit like that. And I always used to do, if you could recommend somebody watch one movie in their entire lifetime, what would you recommend? And I always said Raiders. Raiders is just, I could say it so many times over. I almost don't want to because we're going to have to cover it in a big box office, which we got an anniversary for it next year, so we're just going to use the excuse since it'll be the 45th anniversary of Raiders next year. But it's perfect. It's truly perfect in every way, shape, or form. I love Raiders so much.
I would say in terms of Spielberg, he has three perfect movies to me. Raiders, Schindler's List, and Jaws. I wouldn't change a single thing about them.
Does anyone else even have two?
Probably not. I'd have to think about that, but I don't think so.
I mean, who else even has one? You know?
I would say Frank Capra, It's a Wonderful Life. I would consider that a perfect movie.
Okay.
But there's very few.
What about our boy Bob Zemeckis with Back to the Future?
Yeah, probably.
He's got one.
I think a lot of like the bigger filmmakers probably have one perfect movie that I wouldn't change a thing about.
Right.
But the fact that he has three, kind of crazy.
It's best. He's
Also,
great.
you have Harrison Ford looking arguably the best he's ever looked in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Besides maybe Temple. He looks pretty damn good in Temple of Doom.
I think his best look in terms of physical look is in Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
However, even the happy accidents make Raiders so good. The fact that he had...
Well, that's what I think separates a good filmmaker from a great one. Is where you can you're thrown curveballs, but you can still deal with the problems.
Yes.
Because there could have been so many problems on a lot of his films, Jaws especially. But he's just like, I'll find a creative way to get around that problem.
Right. He's so special. Raiders is so special. We've analyzed the truck chase scene 1,000 times. It won our action scene tournament, which is another great series of episodes that we did for you guys. I don't want to go into more because we still got to cover it in an episode, but it's just... I have loved Indiana Jones my entire life. It is so special to both of us. It's just a movie that united us and united our time with Dad. It was...
Is that the one you've seen the most, Raiders?
I don't know, because as a kid, we watched Temple of Doom a lot more than we watched Raiders.
I know for a fact the one I've seen the most is Temple.
I
Because I watched that like crazy.
I now watch Raiders way more than I watch any other ones. And I'm now drawn to, especially with, as you know, my personal relationship with our father. Last Crusade means a great deal to me. where now I will rewatch Last Crusade more than I'll watch Temple of Doom. But now it's definitely Raiders, Last Crusade, Temple of Doom. Whereas kids, it was always Temple of Doom. But I think it's because it was the only one we owned, and then we got Last Crusade somewhere in there. I don't ever remember owning Raiders until I was an adult.
That might be true. I remember Temple of Doom did not have a cover for it.
Yeah, we just had the VHS tape.
It was just the VHS tape Raw Dog.
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah, perfection. Greatest movie of all time. I will fight anybody for I will fight you if you say it's not the greatest of all time.
I do think my list probably would be different if I did it just by film alone.
Yeah.
You know? Because I do a series as one.
That's the thing, is that I just, like you said in the Harry Potter franchise section, so many series have that dud or have that movie where you're just like, and I was like, well, it's not really fair because if I did that for like the original Batman, I think the original 89 Batman's great. I think Batman Returns is honestly a phenomenal movie. Forever is okay. And Batman and Robin is so bad that I'm like, if I rank that by strictly series, it does not show the true love I have for Batman Returns, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even know if I can have that in the top 50 solely because of Batman and Robin. So it's just tough to do. But that's why I went Raiders and everything by itself. But that's it. We've done it. We'll do a post-mortem in December, but we have done the entire top 100 series. And if you want to recap, I'm sure I'll throw that somewhere in the episode visually. But great times. Great times analyzing it. We hope you guys enjoyed this series. We hope you guys enjoyed some new stuff. If you want to get more participatory, our last episode, Complete the Movie Grid, is up, and that's going to be a monthly entry for us, most likely going forward. And then we're also doing a new one, which is the movie Pyramid Tiers. That's going to be our next episode after this one, I believe. If not, it'll be in the short future, right around Thanksgiving time. That's our top 100. Any other final words on the top 100?
No. I think it's been a fun series.
It's been a fun series, and it's very enjoyable. I feel like I got to know you better because of this. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it does help.
It helps a lot. But hope you guys had a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening wherever you may be. We truly appreciate it. Peace, love, and hugs to you all. Go watch a great movie.
Bye.
Goodbye.